Hello folks, this is Silvertoken back again, and I am doing another Let's Play series on Resonant Rise 3. In this episode, episode 3, I would like to cover triple ore processing. As you remember from the last episode, we got the power going up and running, we got a metallurgic infuser, we had a smelter and stuff. I picked them up and put them on my inventory for right now, just so that I can get ready, because we're going to actually use them for the triple ore processing. On top of that, I did bury up the lava setup underneath here, and it's actually fully covered with lava now. And one thing I forgot to mention on the last episode is that the pipes from, the cables from Mekanism are fully compatible with covers from Forge Multipart. So I was able to keep the cables from connecting that I ran up, of course, with a simple cover in between, and I'm able to cover up anything on the outside to keep it looking nice and pretty by just using the standard covers with a saw. Up on top, as you can see, I built up 2 more windmills up there so that I have about 180 RF of tick power coming in into the cube now. I figured that's probably a good enough power system to start getting going on triple ore processing, basically. I would have done 2, but 2 is actually pretty simple, and we're already doing it with the smelter out there as it is. But to get triple ore processing, you really only have to build 1 machine. It's just this enrichment chamber here. Now I know I didn't build this on camera yet, but I'll be building it this episode because we got to build another one just for the triple ore processing, because we actually need 2 of these things. But basically, these are a very useful machine. It has 1 extra use, which is why I built it off camera to get ready for this. And that's you can put redstone in the enrichment chamber, and you will get compressed redstone, or you can put in charcoal or coal, and you'll get compressed carbon. This item, when put in the metallurgic infuser, gives you 10 times the amount that it would from a piece of redstone. So basically, instead of 1 piece of redstone making, an enriched alloy, I can get 10 enriched alloys out of 1 piece of redstone. So it's one of those machines that I highly encourage anyone to make as quickly as you can afford it for Mekanism, just for the simple fact of it's going to save you a lot in coal, charcoal, redstone, diamonds, that things later on. But for the triple ore processing, we're going to need that and a few other machines. The first machine I want to make is one that we need to use to make some more of the pieces that I haven't got to yet, and that is a crusher. The crusher is similar to a pulverizer from TE, except you don't get extra ore when you crush items, but it is used to crush things down into dust, and it is used in this processing line. So if you actually take a look, it's a pretty simple setup. Steel casing that we've made before, some redstone, a couple of lava buckets, and a couple of basic control circuits, which we covered last time as well. I've already basically pretty much got the parts here going so that we could get through this pretty quickly here. So let's get a crusher real quick. Alright, there we go. And on top of this, what I also wanted to cover here was factories. Alright, because in this triple processing line, I like to always use basic factories. So the basic factories are unique to Mekanism in that I can take any one of their machine and build it into a factory, and I'll have multiple items that I can smelt, crush, or process with it. It basically gives you ×3 for the basics. There's actually a few other factories as well, so he's got multiple lines on them. There is a advanced factory and an elite factory, and these things, I think the elites, if I remember right, have 8 slots in them. So basically 1 elite smeltery is basically like 8 smelteries in one. Now they do take 1 set of power for each one of them, so in the case of a basic factory, if I don't upgrade it in any way, shape, or form, instead of the usual 20 RF a tick, it'll take 60 RF a tick to actually run it when it's crafting all 3 items, basically. So factories are pretty easy to make. They're basically just redstone, iron, and a couple of basic control circuits right around whatever machine block you want to build a factory out of. So in this case, I'm going to start with the crusher, and we're going to go ahead and get our redstone and iron, and there we go. Now we have turned that crusher into a factory. Alright, so like I mentioned, I need the crusher here. Okay, and as you see, like I said, it's got 3 slot items now to go ahead and crush things. Instead of the normal items, I can actually switch the machines out in the factory here. I can also change what it does with a redstone signal here. Of course, down here in the bottom left is how much RF power it is, and the upgrades and the side configs are all the same. This is a unique item to it though. It's got auto sort on off. What auto sort basically means is it's going to, if I put an item in here to get crushed down, it will automatically divide it between all three. So in this case, if I want 12 osmium to get crushed, it'll automatically balance it out against all three of them. So I'm going to take a couple of these out because I think I only need a few of these. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get some stuff crushing here because we're also going to need that. And as I mentioned before, while that's going, we're going to convert some other things here into factories as well. I need to get another enrichment chamber because it's actually going to become a purification chamber. So let's go ahead and build a purification chamber as well. Actually, let's kind of get this in order, actually. I think that would probably be a bit better. Actually, the very first process in this is that you need an electrolytic separator because you're going to need some oxygen for the purification chamber. So, help if I spell it right. Alright, and to get an electrolytic separator, you need to build a electrolytic core. And this was the main reason I went with this route. So we're going to need gold dust, osmium dust, and some iron dust. So that's right. That's why I was starting with this real quick. So get a gold, get an iron. Alright, here. And I got the osmium. Okay, good. So let's hop back over here real quick. Let's build the electrolytic core. And the electrolytic core can then go in here to make an electrolytic separator. Electrolytic separators don't need much. They just need water to separate out, and it's going to actually separate out and make oxygen and hydrogen from that. The hydrogen actually has a few uses. You can put it into a gas generator, that type of stuff, make your energy, and we'll actually do that a bit later. It's actually a good mid-tier power system. Or actually low to mid tier really is what I would say. In this case though, I want to go ahead and put him here. Alright, he's going to automatically get power from the top, and what I've actually set up down here beforehand is I set up a just a standard transfer node with a couple of world interaction upgrades and an infinite water source below it so that it could automatically pump water into it. And as you can see, it's already starting to create hydrogen and oxygen here. So the issue though is that when any one of these fill up, it's going to stop creating the secondary item. So we don't want hydrogen from this machine at this time because all we really want to get is oxygen. So we're going to go ahead and dump the hydrogen so that way it fills the oxygen side of this full. On top of that, you need to know which side each of the things come out. And if I remember correctly, the red side is oxygen and the blue side is hydrogen. And that is actually the side you're going to end up having to pump your gases out of as well. In this case, I want to pump the gases out the back. So I want to rotate this guy a bit here so that red is facing that way. Alright, let's go ahead and fill this back up. Okay. Yeah, I went through a blood moan just a few minutes ago while I was prepping for this. Not so much fun. Okay. Now that we got that, we need a purification chamber to pump the gases in, as well as a gas tank. So, and yes, I do have enough osmium dust. Actually, I need iron dust and osmium. Let's get another iron dust here real quick. Because the other thing I want is I want a gas tank to store the gas in. Alright, so gas tanks are really easy to make as well. Simple iron in the center, wrap up osmium, and that gets you a gas tank. These things will hold, I believe, like 96,000 units of gas, which is actually a lot. So we're going to need some pressurized tubes. I believe is what they're called. Yeah, these ones right here. Pressurized tubes are capable of transferring mechanism gases, of course. And he's got multiple tiers of those as well. So, and when you get up into higher tiers, you're going to actually find that the system, you're going to need actually higher tiers just to even keep up with the amount of stuff you end up processing. In this case, I think these basic ones will be enough. If not, we're just going to end up slowing down is what will end up happening. Alright. So what this is going to do is this is going to give us a buffer here of a little bit extra gas as we start to build it up here. Alright, let's get down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out the best way to do this first of all. You know what? Actually, it might be better to go ahead and rotate him back the other way. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty. And then we'll go ahead and place our tank down here. Alright, and the unique thing about the tank here is this little red dot is actually the path where the gas is going to come on out. So, and as you can see, it's starting to fill up with oxygen already. You can actually use these gas tanks to fill certain items and machines, and we'll actually get in that a bit later, because there's an item I'm going to make pretty soon that was going to help me out a lot here. Alright, but in the meantime, we want to go ahead and bring up some pressurized tubes right up the back here, so that we are going to bring gas straight from the machine now, or up into the machine's area. And I think I have a couple of more covers. Yeah, I know. Why are we even worried about covering up cobblestone? It's really more to show you guys just how this can work for when I get the castle going. We'll actually, you know, do this a lot better when the castle's going. But for right now, this is okay. Like I said, it's more just about what the system can do. Alright, get that all sealed up. So next is the purification chamber. Excellent. So purification chamber will take and triple our ores, but then we got to process it through each phase. So let's start with the purification chamber, which, like I mentioned, I needed the enrichment chamber for. So now to make this, we need to make advanced control circuits, and those are pretty easy. Just a couple of basic circuits wrapped in the enriched alloys. So nothing too difficult there. And then from there, just osmium and the other alloys. So enriched, boom, 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 boom. And I believe a couple enriched. No, what was it? Oh, let's go ahead and move those around so I don't mess it up again. Got these backwards. Alright, there we go. And now we got a purification chamber. Like last time, I do want to make this into a basic machine. Well, actually, you know what? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. I like to keep my purification chamber one level below. The main reason is this is already going to triple my ore when I put this in and I put the ore in. So it's going to make 3 times the amount of ore, which is going to come over here into the factory and fill up the entire factory basically rather quickly. As we can see, the oxygen came in here as well. So it's actually plugging straight in from the back, and we got power from the bottom. What we're going to do with this machine is adjust its side configs though, make sure that the output is going to the right, and auto eject. We want any ores that we put into this system to automatically inject here into the basic factory. We're going to adjust the basic factory here to basically pick up from the red side. We're also going to set this guy to auto eject out the right as well. Go ahead and shut the rest of this stuff off. Okay, and he's going to auto eject into the next machine, which is going to be an enrichment chamber, which we want to make into a factory. So actually we want to make these last 2 into factories. let's go ahead and do that real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And let's make our other enrichment chamber into a factory, and our energized smelter into a factory as well. So the next thing that comes down is we want to enrich the ore after we crush it, and then we need to smelt it in the end. So of course, same setup here. We're going to come into the side configs. We want to accept from the left and eject out the right. And auto eject. The other thing is we want auto sort on all these machines, because we want it to, basically build out. Same here on the last one. Take in from the left, send out the right, which will deposit it all in the chest there at the end for me. And go ahead and auto eject. Auto sort. There we go. So now, if we come over here and we take a little bit of iron and we put it into our purification chamber, it's going to go ahead and process that. It's going to automatically eject it out the side as iron clumps. As you can see, I got 3 of them. Those will then run into the enriching factory as dirty iron dust. And finally, they end up here in the basic smelting factory as iron dust. And when all complete, we get 3 times the processing from those one set of items. So now anything that I basically stick in there, it'll automatically just run on to the end. So, to make this process a bit smoother, of course, I can take the standard tactic of hopper, set the side config to take input from the top, and then do something like a simple chest or something on top, which is all I'm going to do. And then I can just dump all my ores or whatever in the chest on top. Now the downside is I can't get in the chest. So for now, I'll need to actually build that a little bit taller before I do that. But that'll still hold up to 5 levels at this point. And as we can see, the last little bit is running through. Now the next thing I wanted to show you guys was the upgrades, because this thing is just extremely slow right now, and I really want this to be much faster. Now again, upgrades are going to take more energy cost unless you use the energy upgrades first, which is what I always recommend. So if we type in upgrade, the upgrade you're looking for is, where'd it go? Right here. Energy and speed upgrades from Mekanism. These are the ones you want. And they're pretty easy. A little glass, some enriched alloys. In this case, crushed gold dust in the center, or crushed osmium. That's the only difference between the two. So in this case, we're going to need some glass, which I don't think we have any. Or we got like 1 piece. So I'm going to go ahead and burn up a stack of it. I'm actually have to go get a lot more sand at some point. And let's see, I've already got some osmium for speed upgrades. That's fine. And I got a few enriched alloys here. So let's just get some gold. Now in this case, we are going to have to shut off the crushing factory to make sure that it doesn't auto-eject anymore. But it's as simple as that. Just shut off the auto-eject system, and you can crush your items and get them back out. Okay. And upgrades are pretty simple. And they're really easy to use as well. Just come in your upgrades and drop them in. That's all you got to do. And you can fit up to 8 of these in here. And each one of these will take down the energy requirements of this. As you can see, now it's only using 14.99 RF a tick instead of the 20. So if I put one of these in each of these, my energy requirements will go down. Now what I also wanted to do was grab 3 of these. So that I could show you guys that oops. Now if we watch this, we'll actually see when it kicks in, I think. It may not be too noticeable though. Yeah, not too noticeable, but it did improve a little bit. Once you get a few of these though in here, you'll actually be running pretty good. But as you can see, it's now using 26.67 RF a tick or needing 80 RF because I'm doing 3 times the crafting right now. And the speed only improved a little. But once you get these things fully maxed out with 8 apiece in them, they'll actually be flying. Alright, let's see here. Grab some of this glass out. And I got enough to make one more upgrade before I have to make some more of those items here. So as you can see, it'll go ahead and process another one. It'll put another one in there, no problem. And we can see a slight more improvement again. But as you can see, the power requirements go up. Now it's almost 50 RF a tick per crafting operation. So you definitely want to get your energies in. On top of that, like I said, these guys will do speed upgrades too, so you can speed them up. But just remember to balance your power requirements versus everything as you're doing it. Alright, let's see here. So that covered the triple processing. And let's go ahead and actually let's just go ahead and run a bunch of stuff through this here real quick. Turn it back on real quick. Oops, not upgrades. Turn back on the auto eject. Pop that in there. And again, we'll see it run through the system, but it'll run a little bit faster this time. And of course, the crafting or the smelting operation at the end should stay well ahead of the enriching here, because it's going to run much faster, as we see. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, some of the other things I did, I have the heat generator I moved up here like I mentioned I was going to do. Let's go ahead and fill some of these blocks back in so that we don't fall in the hole. On top of that, my next thing that I want to start working on is a sorting system here. And what I was actually planning to do is just the refined relocation stuff here in the beginning, honestly. My stuff is getting pretty full. So I could bunch out a bunch of chests here and just fill them all up, but I'd rather go ahead and do some other stuff here. So I think, if I remember correctly, we just want some sorting chests. I'm not 100% familiar with refined relocation, but we'll go ahead and kind of jump into it here. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, just some wooden planks and some gold ingots, which I got plenty of these I can do. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and start with 6 chests, I guess. Or do we want to go right around the side here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So let's go with 10 chests, actually. Alright, There we go. And these make a pretty good early game sorting system because they're fairly cheap and fairly easy to use and get set up. So if you shift click on them, you can basically totally configure exactly what's going to be in each of these. I can put ingots, I can put ores, I can put planks, dust, gems, that type of thing. I can get down into different mods if I want to put them and sort them by mods. There's just all sorts of different ways to filter this out. I can set priorities on them. I can do custom name filters. I can whitelist, blacklist. I mean, there's just tons of things to do with the refinery location. So if we put in all ores and all ingots, let's say in this first one, and let's go ahead and go with all logs and all planks in this second one. We shouldn't need any crushed ores or dusts. Plates, gems might be good though. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get plants maybe. And at the end here, let's put building blocks right now. And that should be enough to kind of get going here and get started with this. So if I pop this down, and actually I probably should have one that's just a straight sorting chest. So as we can see, there's a lot of items that didn't go anywhere because they had no place to go. But a couple of them I think did. Yeah, so the ones at the very end here did. Oops. Yeah. Alright, I need to do it with an open hand, I think. Oh, need my dang pickaxe. Must still be over here. Yep. Open hand helps. Okay, so, and as we can see, I put building blocks here at the end. So really what you got to do is get these all worked out correctly so that it actually sorts the stuff the way you want. You can, like I said, pull up by mod and everything else. These can also be upgraded to iron chests as well, which is what I'll probably end up doing here with some of this. But between this episode and next, I'm probably going to go ahead and process my ores and get a lot of the stuff going that I need to start building my castle, because that's the next thing that I really want to start working on. Get out of this cobblestone little shack that we're in and get up on the hill and get into a nice castle and get that running. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.